All right, this is my PTO demo. I'm gonna explain how this works, even though it's kind of wonky. I need a dual acting piston here just to make, there's a couple things that just need to be changed, but I can't quite do right now because of my limited resources. But I'm just gonna explain the PTO. It's powered off of the intake, so whatever the intake does affects this, and then the piston disengages that motion so I can use one motor for two things. So I'm just gonna kind of show how this works. So right now it's rotating. So if I click the intake button on my remote, it goes up with the intake, and then the opposite direction goes down. Pretty basic. But when I click this button, and then I just kind of get it into motion, I just activated the piston. It pushes this out and allows this to freely rotate. So as you can see, the lift isn't being affected at all by the intake. And how it works is the intake is chained from the intake kind of down. I don't know if you can see that. There's like a little gear structure here. So the motor powers that gear, which goes to this gear, which powers the entire intake. And then down here, there's a sprocket that moves with the intake. And that sprocket goes all the way up here. Now, I could use bigger sprockets and stuff, and that'll get me more torque. But for now, it works. It's fine. I can change that in the future. But basically, this sprocket's locked to the shaft, which is locked to this beveled gear. I beveled my gears on a lathe. That way, they just get the smoothest and most perfect 45 you can kind of get. And then this whole shaft gets powered. Now this shaft, these two are loose on here, and I'm just using these shaft collars to kind of do the spacing. I can put spacers in. This side over here doesn't need spacers though, because that's the side that pivots. And all the white stuff you see on the gear is lithium grease. That's just to kind of help them move and pivot. I think I might put on too much, I don't know. But so down here, the piston is attached to a locking bar. That locking bar is just clamped between two shaft collars. And then the pillow block bearing pushes it back and forth with this piston. And I only use about, like, what is that? 1.5 inches of motion from the piston, so it saves air. I do plan on upgrading this to a dual acting piston, which will pull it back and push it forward, because it does kink a lot. So you'll see it go like, and then right now it's loosened, and you kind of gotta do like that twice because it doesn't pull it back. And I think once it gets more use, it'll kind of wear itself in. And also the alignment on this bar is crucial, and it's kind of off right now. You can kind of see the spacing is a little crooked. You can kind of see it curving like this. But that is crucial. That'll help your gears transfer a lot better. And beveling them, any point where it slides, you have to bevel it. It will work with regular gears, but it won't bevel nearly as well. And you'll just struggle with it a lot. So that'll push in. That's the air, and then boom, it goes. So if it was aligned properly, it'll go perfectly fine. But right now it's locked. Click this, kind of wait for the rubber bands to pull it back. And then this one can go down. I can pick up a mobile goal. And then I just do the intake. I pull it up to my desired angle for my intake. And then I just click the button. And this will kind of spring into place. And then boom, it's locked. Don't have to worry about it. It'll hold the goal. And the tension so that's enough tension of it locked. It won't move at all. So in this, I mean, there's so many gears that it holds it in place. And especially if I have the motor locked. I have the motor set to brake instead of coast in the code. I think even if it was coast, it wouldn't even matter because there's just so much going on here. Like the sprocket, since there's no torque on the sprocket because it's a smaller sprocket, it just can't really push it that far. But yeah, that's my PTO. Changes I will make in the future. I'm going to figure out a way to make this more rigid and more angled. I'm thinking maybe finding a way to get this closer or something like that, and then having this bracket attached across with standoffs just to kind of lock it in as best as I can get it. Having standoffs bridging the gap will kind of help the alignment a lot better than what I have going. And then this will be a dual acting solenoid that'll just kind of help the pulling motion. They're also like, I think, an inch or a half inch shorter, so I can kind of compact the design a lot more. I will, like, this shaft is sticking out right now because I have to cut it, but right now it's just super bulky. There's a lot of just unnecessary lengths and stuff on it that I just don't really like. And I'd like to definitely slim it down and lose that weight, but right now I'm just kind of getting something working. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed and hope this was helpful.